Okay, so let's assume now that your firm has decided that it does want to internationalise. If that is the case, you need to work out where you are going to actually internationalise or expand to. And one of the key theories that will help you as a firm and you individually as a manager understand this and make an informed decision is the model that's known as Porter's Diamond. Now, Porter, a guy that we've looked at and met before in this unit, when creating this model, said that companies from a given nation are most likely to succeed in industries in which four attributes, which we'll cover in a minute, are deemed as favourable. And he also said that these attributes then form a mutually reinforcing system in which the effect of one attribute is dependent on and will influence the state of the other. So overall, Porter said that when we find these four attributes as being favourable, that's when we find a particular country having a certain advantage within a given global industry. And we'll explain how that is the case over the next few slides. Why is this important to you as managers? First of all, it's really useful when identifying which particular countries are very strong in the industry in which you're competing. So if you're looking to expand overseas, it's very useful in saying, okay, maybe we need to reconsider perhaps moving into that particular industry in that country because they already have a lot of very strong competitors. It's also quite useful in identifying the location-based advantages of conducting certain value chain activities in a given country. So if you're looking to outsource, for example, if certain parts of your supply chain, quite often firms will look to internationalize overseas to take advantage of specific access to cheap labour or certain resources and natural resources that are essential in their production process. This tool or this model is really useful here in identifying which particular countries have those certain location advantages that you're after. Thirdly, it's also quite an important tool in assessing the ease of entry into foreign markets and highlighting those opportunities where the rivals might be weakest and where they might be strongest. And here's a diagrammatic representation of it. And you can see that there are four of these boxes around our middle home country advantage diamond. And these four attributes here are the ones which will basically determine, according to this model at least, how competitive a certain nation is within a respective industry. Let's go through these here. The first that you need to consider are the factors of production, which are those inputs necessary to compete in any industry. And we can basically break these down into two categories. You have your basic factors, so the natural factors, things that you can literally take out of the ground, for example, the raw materials and minerals, and the labour resources that are located within a particular nation, that is literally the people that you have that you can get to work for you in a country. And also advanced factors, things like the digital communication systems and an educated workforce, unlike our friends from Collingwood. Probably not going to help you with this particular attribute here. Apologies to any Collingwood supporters I have listening. The next of the four attributes as part of Porter's Diamond are the demand conditions. That is, what is the level of demand within a particular nation? And this involves things like the nature and size of buyers' needs in the home market. Do they need the product that is the mainstay of the industry in which you compete? What is the size of the market segment that you're looking at and that you compete in, which produces demand necessary for creating scale-efficient facilities? Commonly, when you expand your business overseas, the main reason why you do that is because you're looking to produce things in larger quantities so that you can make greater profits. And if you identify that a particular nation does not have sufficient size in that particular industry to meet those scale-efficient facilities, then you might need to look elsewhere. The levels of efficiency which can lead to domination of the industry in other countries, as well as opportunities for specialised demand in certain products and things. So basically, what are the demand levels and conditions in a certain country? There's also the important attribute of the related and supporting industries. So you need to consider not only the direct industry in which you will be competing in that particular country, but also those industries which are relevant to your particular industry. So things those industries which include supporting services, facilities, and importantly, your suppliers. So if you're able to identify a certain country has an advantage when it comes to greater levels of design, when it comes to your particular product. If there is support in distribution, so if a certain country is well known for having capabilities with regards to its networks and distribution and dealerships and those sorts of things, and being efficient and effective there. Also having related industries involving your suppliers and buyers, if there's a particularly large number of suppliers who are located in a certain country, or vice, on the other hand, a higher number of buyers. Finally, the pattern of firm strategy, structure, and importantly, the rivalry among firms. And this relates to things like the common technical training, methodological product and process improvements, and the cooperative and competitive systems. But it's really that the firm structure and rivalry is probably the key thing here. Obviously, we talked earlier in the semester when we looked at Porter's 5 forces model, another one of Porter's wonderful creations, that clearly the higher the level of rivalry, in general for you, if you're an existing firm, that makes your life more difficult, but it can have important flow-on effects in terms of increasing the overall efficiency of the industry. So while if you are looking to enter into a particular industry, that might make things difficult for you, it can also force a lot of companies to become more efficient if they are in that particular country's industry. So there's some things that you do need to consider there as part of Porter's Diamond of National Competitive Advantage.